Hello, friends. So let's talk about how to draft a CV for your portfolio CESR pathway. So this is how the format is. Uh, just a couple of technical things here. Make sure that on every page there is your surname and initials, and there is a page number as well on every page. Okay. For those who are not very technical like me, so if you want to put your initials on the page, so you click on insert, you click on header here, and then you can choose. So usually, so say if you're clicking on this, you can type here at the end. So you just click on this and then you put your name, I mean your surname and the initial, and then it will automatically come here. The same thing is with page number. It's again insert, page number, and then so whether you want to put it at the top or bottom, that's fine. So I use this. So you can just click on this and it will automatically set it up for you. So this is about your initials and the page number, and it's important that you do this. Then make sure that the CV you're submitting is up to date. So the latest date where you updated your CV, so that has to be there. Now, this is what you need to include on your CV. So obviously personal details, your name, address, telephone number, the registration, GMC, your MRC Psych registration number, memberships of professional bodies. So it could be your indemnity, and you can include your Section 12 or approved clinician details here. Your qualifications. So the qualification, obviously, which qualification it is and the date you attained that. So that has to be done. So you can start from the beginning, till your latest. So maybe you can start from MBBS, and then you can move forward. The same thing is with employment history. In employment history, you go in descending order. Uh, and again, even in qualification as well, it's up to you whether you want to go in ascending or descending order. It's entirely up to you. Uh, I personally went in a descending order, writing, from my latest qualifications uh, to MBBS, but you can do the other way around as well. In employment history, it has to be from the latest till the one maybe your first job. So maybe in descending order. So your employment history, the employment date, the description, specifically your job description, that what exactly you did in that job. Again, your job title as well, whether you were working as a consultant or a specialist or associate specialist or specialty doctor or registrar or a junior clinical fellow or trust grade or a junior registrar. So again, this is something you have to specify. And then who was your supervisor or line manager. So again, job title, place where you were working, date, start till finish, and then the description of your job, and then who was your supervisor. Same thing is with employment history, other employment history, whether so you number it employment history one, that is your latest, employment history two, the one before. So that is how you can do. Awards, any local, international, regional awards, whether it is your scholarship or whether you received a doctor or educator or trainer of the year award. It's that is something you need to mention here. Your research experience, whether you were a principal investigator or a co-investigator for a research project or clinical trial, whether you reviewed any article as a reviewer, whether you supervised any research project. So that is something you include. You can also put your research profile ID, whether you've got a ResearchGate ID or Google Scholar or ORCID. You can put that link here. And then the publications, the title of the publication, date when it was published, link you can put here. And if you've done any podcast related to that, you can put the link of the podcast here. Any local, regional, international presentations you did, whether you were invited for a speaker. So you put yeah, the title of the topic, where was this presentation, and then you can also include, say if you've done multiple presentations, you can draft a table and divide it into local, regional, and international, and then you can put your details in. So again, it should include the title of the topic, were you invited there as a speaker, or you did a poster presentation, or you did an oral presentation, so that needs to be included. And then and if say if you've got a link to that, put a link as well if there is. So that needs to be captured here. Again, if you've done any local presentation in your trust, so that could be included as well. So that is not a problem. Then the CPD, again, it's important that you tabulate this like with date, activity, and number of hours or points, hours preferably. So that you can include conferences you attended, any courses you did, workshops, or any online learning module. You can put that here as well. Or maybe if you've read any book, any handbook, you can include that here. Obviously, the audit that has to be captured in your CV, the title of the audit, where it was done, date it was completed, did you complete both cycles? So include that. When did you complete the first cycle? When did you complete the second cycle? Was that published anywhere? So put a link of that as well. So that forms your audit section. Then any teaching or training experience. So you include all the teaching sessions you did, maybe for medical students, for trainees, whether you delivered a presentation in your local academic program. So that has to be included here. Title and date and place as well. Any management experience, if you've done any service related quality improvement project, that needs to be included here. The title, when it was done, where it was done, uh, and if there is a link, if you've published that, you can put the link here. Any management leadership roles, like whether you worked as a clinical lead or associate medical director, or even a medical director, clinical director. So that needs to be included here in the management experience. One thing I would like to add here as well, in your teaching and training experience, you can also include your role as a clinical supervisor. You can also include your role as an appraiser. So that will be captured here under teaching and training experience. So uh, you have to demonstrate your competencies in teaching, assessing, and appraising. So these are the three key skills in your medical education competencies: teach, assess, and appraise. So you include your teaching experience, presentations. You include your if you have clinical supervision accreditation, that needs to be put in, whether, and you also need to describe that what you did as a clinical supervisor, whether you were assigned a co-trainee or a GP trainee, and then you've completed the required workplace-based assessments, and you've completed the ARCP report. All these things needs to be captured here in the teaching and training experience, along with your experience as an appraiser. So again, that is required as part of your CESR portfolio competency, that either you've done an appraiser course or you've worked as an appraiser. So that is important. Procedures, whether you completed an ECT training, or were you on the ECT rota, whether are you doing any TMS, transmagnetic stimulation training, or whether you've got, if in your trust you've got ketamine clinic, are you doing that? So that is something which needs to be captured here. Extra activities, you can include your 360-degree multi-source feedback. You can also include that you've been up to date with your trust mandatory training, so that could be captured here. And then finally, your career aspirations. So obviously, if you're working towards portfolio pathway, you can capture that in. So where are you up to in your portfolio pathway, or you are on the verge of submission? You can just mention that you've submitted your portfolio, or you're going to submit your portfolio on this date, to be on the GMC specialist register in your specialty, or whether you want to pursue MSc or Masters or MPhil or PhD. That is something you can include. So whatever your career aspirations are, you can include here. Any managerial aspirations, leadership aspirations. These are the things you can capture here. Uh, Again, just make sure that there is your initials and the page number, everything is mentioned as it is here. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.